Okay, so let's... We could do blasters or rapid blasters. What's So I think the rapid blasters are probably better. Slightly less crit chance, but we don't... Yeah, but way more damage. They learn, but ignore it mostly. People are dumb. Okay, damage spread. Pushback. This shouldn't be a problem. Okay, next up I should probably get... I probably want an AoE. It's real tempting to get the, It's really tempting to get the barrel, because the barrel is reliable? Maybe. And by the way, to go back to the previous topic about, you know, being a doctor for money and whatever. If you are a doctor and you're a doctor for money, but as long as you're good at your job and like not just being like, you know, ignoring your patients, I really could care less if a person is purely in it for the money. It's just when it's a doctor that's in it for the money and is like a bad doctor as a result and doesn't care. Like that's when I have problems. Like I've had a couple of medical professionals who very much did not seem interested in what I was dealing with, and I'm like, I desperately need like to speak with a person that knows what they're doing and has an ounce of sympathy right now. And you are not it. Let's see, how does multiple lightning guns work with look with multi-shot? I don't know. I need to get another golden I need to get another golden lightning gun. Unfortunately, I don't have any. I know a number of people and, well, YouTubers, I guess, that went into it for the money. And they are in it for the money, and they're doing quite well for themselves. I don't think they really started in it for the money, but that's kind of how it ends up. You get burnt out. It's understandable. I don't really fault them for that. I fault them a little bit sometimes, because I'm like, you really should just, like, figure out how to have fun again. But oh well. I want to become a magician, but first I need to become a doctor and get in a car crash. I got bad news for you. I'm fairly certain Disney's got some lawyers that would disagree with your career path. Okay. Good. I was gonna have a hard time getting to some of those lasers. Okay. GTFO. That was a big bomb. About to go off. Alright. I'm hoping these things don't have a maximum range or we're gonna be in trouble. I read a issue of Doctor Strange when I was 8, I think it was. And, you know, it had, like, very specific patterns and, like, words that, that Doctor Strange was saying. So as a kid, I was actually trying to, like, do them myself in hopes of, you know, pulling it off and casting magic or something. It, didn't work, for obvious reasons, and I was real disappointed. Magic should exist. Be freaking rad. Let's see, if I recall in the first fight with the Mothergunship boss, the core don't the barrels lack the range needed? They do. Hey, there's a shop right off the bat. That was necessary that last run that we were here. So the reason why I went barrel in here, there's some money dropped. There we go. So the only reason why I go barrel on these runs is because, realistically, you're gonna want some AoE. These levels are actually, like, legitimately difficult. And, sometimes it's really nice having a gun with just a hefty amount of boom. And they're also great jump guns. Probably should have actually left the shields intact, now that I think about it. You know, I almost kind of wish they'd actually wrap every stage. Wow. That's got some kickback. But yeah, I actually really wish they'd wrap every stage into this, or just make the Mothergunship runs, like, rather long. And so it's all just one long, contiguous run, instead of, like, this weird, separate run. Okay. You're still alive, but not for long. There we go. Boy, do I have some hoops. Holy crap. Okay, so who's even left here? Oh, there's a guy on the other side. That's what's going on. But yeah, this is going so much better. Still risk, but less. Way less. I was really hoping for pipes here. What can we get? I could buy... Hey, there it is. There's the Goliath. I'm gonna buy the railgun. I'm not entirely sure what I'm gonna need. But, now we've got the burst reactor, and that Goliath EM1 that I lost. So now we've got, one hell of a crit cannon going on. Got a dice room, a regular room. There's probably secrets here. Yeah, there are. Irregular Magic High School is one of the more probable systems of magic. I really wanted to like that anime / light novel, but the whole, like, weird... you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, but the weird relationships between the characters I do not like. I really like anime, I really like Japanese media, but good God, some of the tropes and, like, things that they do, it's just so hard. Let's go weeb for a while. I really like Goblin Slayer. Saw the first episode of the anime last night. Shell was asleep, and I was like, yeah, I can watch this now. Because I would, like, legitimately like to see the anime because I've read the manga. And they did a really good job with it. I was pretty impressed, and it was slightly more tasteful than the manga. And, you know, I was like, okay, I can work with this. But it's still just like, at the same time, yeah, I realize that they did that to raise the stakes. But they could have just done without it, and I would have liked it a lot more. And then I could actually say, like, hey, guess what? Goblin Slayer's fantastic. Everybody should watch it. But as it stands, don't watch it unless you... What the shit? This room sucks. I might die. Oh. There's a way down here. Okay. Ow. I don't think I actually got hit by that. That's good. Alright. No! You... Okay. But yeah, do not watch Goblin Slayer unless you're probably an adult. This room blows. Okay, screw it. It's not worth it for the last one. Now, the slime anime is also interesting. I like that one. I actually like that one a lot. I've read the, like, the first 200 chapters of the light novel. Pretty good. Okay, time to hang out in here for a while. Problem is, there's a bunch of gnats. Gotta kill them before I get back in that shield. Otherwise, it's gonna hurt. But yeah, I've been... Oh, what else have I been doing? I mean, Valkyria Chronicles is a great example of a game that I think would be so much better if they actually got rid of a lot of the anime tropes. You know, they've got, like, this weird little girl that, like, for some reason they spent, like, half an hour of cutscenes on, that kind of has a bearing on the plot, and I'm sure she will have more of a bearing on the plot, but it's just very strange, and I was playing the game, and I was like, I'm liking this. It's, like, just kind of this weird JRPG version of, like, an alternate World War II. And, like, I really liked that. It seemed very sensible. And then it's just gotten, like, a little weirder every single time. And it sucks a little bit, because I'm just like... I just want to play... like, a tactical... I love the Fire Emblem games. It's one of my favorite series ever. And I can't play any of the new titles, because they're weird. In, like, not a way that I enjoy. Oh. I see, I gotta take out the shield generator up top. It's shielding those guys on the bottom. That's actually really clever level design. Shit. There's a lot more, oomph. Ow! A lot more oomph in this setup. I really should just shoot them. But I don't know. Shoot. Yeah, I love Fire Emblem. But just the more recent ones have just been tropier and tropier and weirder. Like, the dating sim elements, like, I can see why people love them, but for me, it's just like, I just wanna, like, do kind of play a, like, semi-generic fantasy story with a bunch of kind of, like, endearing characters. I don't want to, like, figure out who has the best stats and who I should shack who with, because that just gets weird. See, RE Monster is cool if you're okay with the character that's the bad guy's the main character. No, it's not. That gets very weird in anime. I think that's actually one of the only anime I've ever seen, or manga I've ever read, where the main character has children. But I wasn't... It's weird. Like, the idea of these things are cool, but the execution is like, I have high standards for media. I can't really handle tropes anymore. I've always been bad with secondhand embarrassment, for starters. So, like, when it comes to some things, it's just like, nope, can't deal. Not interested. It makes me picky, but it also means I've got a lot of... Well, I got a lot of free times on my hands that I'm not wasting on weird stuff. Like, one of the first manga I ever read was... Actually, the first manga I ever read was Ranma, which I think is where I've developed this dislike. Because it's just kind of like, it's weird. It makes me feel weird reading it. I feel like anybody that would, like, read this over my shoulder would be like, Wander, what the hell are you reading? And then the second one I ever read was, Full Metal Alchemist, which is fantastic. And pretty much, like, yeah, it definitely had its, like, weird tropey moments, but for the most part it was just perfect. And, like... It's hard going from, like, some older stuff that I've already seen to newer stuff that, like, gets real weird and tropey. What the? Oh! Okay, was not expecting that. Alright, so spikes on the bottom. Bunch of nibblers around here, though. Kinda nice. I think I'm actually crowd surfing over these guys, which is hilarious. Let's see, did I watch the live-action Full Metal Alchemist? No. I don't generally mess with live-action. It might be good, it might not be good, I don't know. But in my experience, live-action anything is pretty, yeah. But then again, I think, like, one of the first live-action anythings I saw was, Cassern, which is weird. Because I saw a Proto Men music video using Cassern for, I mean, effectively, to kind of act out, replace, like, some kind of proper live-action Mega Man, which actually works really well, and I thought it was, like, a really rad movie, based on the Proto Men, music videos. But then I saw the actual thing, and I'm like, what the hell? This doesn't even make sense. The plot was awful. Nope. Okay, we have a shit ton of enemies still in here. At least our health is looking real good. Damage is great. Let's see. I mean, obviously there are certain, like, modern things that are actually pretty good. Like, I'm a big fan of man, I am running the gamut for weird topics today. But I don't know, I've been really enjoying One Punch Man and My Hero Academia. But, like, those are golden series that, like, honestly I think everybody should read because they're so well made. Let's buy a couple of connectors here. Health is looking fine, so I don't need to get more of that. I should probably look for more secrets, but they're a pain in the ass to find on these levels. These levels are huge. But, like, I find myself often loading up an anime or something and being like, hey, let's see if this is any good, and it's just, like, super tropey, and I'm like, no. I did the same thing in JRPGs. If a JRPG gets, like, too tropey, I'm like, I can't do this. Like, there were definitely some moments in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 where I was just like, no, don't like, this is weird. Did I notice anything down here? Nope. Let's see if I can spot any secrets for a moment. Because we do need to pick up some more, well, we got a decent amount of jumps. What about the Dragon Prince? I tried watching the Dragon Prince. I tried, I got, like, partway through, and it just, I think it ran into, like, too many, they ran into too many tropes, honestly, you know, the, like, there's an emergency going on, but let me ignore that and actually, tell you something deeply personal about myself. It's like, no, this is the wrong time to do it. That is, I think that's actually one of my, like, #1 pet peeves in anything. Is when a character doesn't get the gravity of the situation and, like, actively screws everybody over. I watched, it wasn't the original, was it the original Night of the Living Dead? I think it was the original Night of the Living Dead. I actually don't know if there are more, but, Night of the Living Dead was one of the first zombie movies I ever saw. I don't really watch, never really consumed a whole lot of, like, quote-unquote horror medias. For whatever reason, we were like, hey, you know, this is OG. Let's watch this. And And there were, like, almost every character in that movie was straight up just, like, grossly incompetent. There was one semi-competent character the entire movie, and it was infuriating. Because in the end, he gets, like, shot in the face randomly. The Leroy Jenkins syndrome. Familiar with the trope. I wouldn't say it's Leroy Jenkins, though. It's like, so, to continue my grump, is there another one up there? No, there's just one here. So, effectively, there's a family in the basement, and they won't let anybody else in. They're like, no, you know, you might be infected, or we don't like you, or who knows. It was just like a billion things. But they just had, like, an arbitrary reason for not allowing anybody down into the basement, which was ostensibly safer, and they were ignoring everything and anything, and more or less being like, you people suck, we don't know you, we don't like you just for existing, we hope you die up there. And it turns out that their daughter got bit by a zombie, before this all happened. She turns into a zombie, and then stabs them all to death? That part was kind of confusing, but, like, whatever. And, you know, it's kind of one of those where it's like, yeah, I guess they got their just desserts, but they screwed everybody else over, who then had to deal with this rickety farmhouse for the rest of the movie, when everybody could have, like, hunkered down below, dealt with the undead daughter situation a lot faster, because the competent character actually could, you know, be competent. And I'm sure that would have created problems, but, like, whatever. And they just screwed everybody over because they were just extraordinarily selfish. And then, I think at about the same time in the movie, there was another sequence where they're... oh yeah, the other, like, halfway competent character and his fiancée are fueling up the truck so they can drive away and escape effectively. And they're fueling up the truck, but for some reason there's something wrong with the truck, and then it's surrounded by the undead. And then they're supposed to escape, but the girlfriend, fiancé, whatever of the semi-competent dude is like, my jacket's caught. And she, like, can't take off the jacket, whatever. They had, like, half a minute to get her out of the, truck. And she couldn't rip her jacket. She couldn't take off her jacket. She couldn't just, like, yank herself out. It was just totally random of, like, nope, this character is incapable of solving their own problems. To the point where the truck then randomly explodes, I think it was, or maybe they got it eaten by zombies, I'm not entirely sure, but effectively it was just like, they had an easy situation that could have been resolved fairly quickly, but for some reason, due to, I'm gonna call it gross incompetence, or, I mean, honestly, it's plot device to kill off characters, but it's like, if, cripes, these levels are hard. Okay. I might have a little bit too much pushback here. Which definitely isn't helping my situation. God damn, everything hurts. Saw some health. Saw a lot of health, actually. Still not a big fan of the invulnerable turrets in this game. Not a big fan of those. Health, 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 health. Falling quickly. Problem is, there's no easy spot for me to fight anything here. And the performance is actually kind of crap right now. What do we even have left? this guy. Maybe a gnat. There's a secret there. I could do enough damage to kill anything and everything. I just can't see or hit it, and I don't have the room to do so. Oh, okay. Let's grab some of these secrets. This sucks. But yeah, so yeah, the truck blows up. Jacket's Caught Girl dies. So does her boyfriend, fiance, whatever. And it's like, okay, fine. They were kind of minor characters. But I think what really bothered me about the movie in the very end was the main female character, who's barely a character. She's just, her brother gets bit and turns into a zombie, and she's sad about it the whole movie, and kind of useless. And like, in the very end, she sees a zombie version of her brother. At which point she rips apart all of the defenses the competent characters put down, and dives out and gets eaten. You know, I don't even know what her plan was. I don't know if she had a death wish, if she was just stupid, but, you know, it just didn't make any sense. It's like, why would anybody do this? These people have been trying to kill you for the entire night, and you're gonna go just out there with them? Question mark? And this is, what movie am I talking about? Still Night of the Living Dead. Sorry. I got a little distracted by not dying, if possible. These rooms are brutal. I thought it was hard getting here. It's hard being here. But yeah, so she just dives out there and effectively kills everybody else. And, like, competent main character still manages to actually, like, deal with it. You know, he manages to drive them back, he manages to defend himself, and he manages to survive until dawn, at which point he gets shot in the head by the police because they were not taking any chances, which also sucked, but that's besides the point. But it was just frustrating. I like characters that rise to the occasion, and it frustrates me when a person remains limited the entire way through. Character growth or not, it's kind of one of those where it's like, I need a, I need a, don't use the right-hand gun for 40 seconds. It's gonna be tough. We'll see how it goes. Really depends on if there's gnats. I guess what I could do is just run. Let's just let everything spawn and get a lay of the land. Looks like this is a pretty easy room. I probably actually shouldn't kill anything. Unless I can gather the loot. Because it'd be pretty bad if a health drop dropped. Not seeing any here. Magnet range would be an incredible upgrade in this game. Yeah, everything takes off like a full 10 HP. Kind of brutal. Than just some health. Got a small horde following me. Okay, there's a little bit. You know, this is the other thing I should probably have been doing. I should have just gone up. Because there's nothing up here that can hurt me. Okay, there's some health. Okay, we ain't done yet. Okay. Still a lot to go with here. But yeah, I get the point of, like, you know, you have to have dumb people. You can't have everybody be smart. But it always sucks when it's like nobody is competent or everybody is stupid or like somebody does something incomprehensibly stupid. Somebody brought up the beginning of Dead Rising, where everybody's trapped in the mall, zombies outside, and then some fool of an old lady decides to open the door to get her puppy who's locked outside. And it's just like, how stupid can you be? I think that always bugs me a little bit, you know, the character that is so grossly incompetent that they ruin everything for everybody. I'm sure there's a massive TV tropes page for this, but it is my #1 pet peeve in all things. I thought I spotted a secret here. I know there's one on the inside section right as you come in. There it is. What am I fighting? Okay, there we go. That was it. That's what I was fighting. Okay, do we have a shop in here? I think a lot of these, like, peeves come from the fact that I am kind of an impatient person. I've definitely, like, had problems with that in the past, where, like, you know, something comes second nature to me, and other people might not get so much. Like, earlier today, I was talking to Shell's family, and Shell's great aunt needs a new phone, and they recently bought her an iPad, and so I was like, you know, hey, why don't you just get an iPhone? You know, there's some really cheap iPhones that you could get, no problem, that are going to behave very similarly to your iPad, and like this way you don't have to worry about learning 2 different platforms. And they're like, no, that's a bad idea. You know, I'm not going to understand it. It's not going to make any sense to me. And, you know, the great aunt, of course, has these, like, big wide eyes, being like, you know, no, I can't get the iPad. Or the iPhone. And I'm like, I don't even like iPhone. But she's going to classes at the Apple store, you know, to learn how to use an iPhone. And I'm like, this would be the perfect phone for you, because you wouldn't have to learn 2 systems. And now she's probably going to end up picking up some other smartphone and have to learn 2 different separate platforms. And I was like, no, this, like, in any other circumstance, I think a person would go for it, but it's, yeah, it's complicated. And, like, I get it, I really do, the technology is scary. But for me, as a person that picks up technology instantaneously, it was impossible for me to understand that, like, an iPhone would actually be hard to learn. Because the iPhone is, like, super simple. But for somebody that grew up with, you know, basic dial phones and whatnot, yeah, I can understand why that would be hard. And I have to remind myself, like, not everybody is me. And, you know, that, you know, the expectation that an iPhone would be really easy to pick up, even if you had an iPad, that's not actually true for other people. And so it's the same thing with, like, Photoshop and whatnot. Haha, I knew there was another secret here. Because, you know, for me, Photoshop is second nature, and so trying to teach somebody a mechanic that I know in a video game in Photoshop, the phone thing, it's wild. Realizing that, yeah, you know, people do have, like, different means of learning these things. See, do we have the blaster? I'm gonna get rid of the barrel for this one. We're gonna need more connectors here. Gonna need some healing. Okay, let's rip this apart for a second. Okay, we want a connector. Connector. Okay, railgun, railgun, Pressure booster. Do I want the sprayer? Probably. What is the... Let's remove one of these. Crit chance is only 10%, so I should probably keep the crit thing on the speed shot. And, like, it was kind of a similar thing. We were talking about spam calls. And I don't know how many of you guys were on IRC chat or, like, AIM back in the day. I'm assuming quite a lot of you guys were. I'm spiking myself here. So, I might have to stay away from using both of these guns. The pushback is too strong. I think I might use the right-hand gun for a jump gun. More than anything else. But yeah, so we were talking about spam calls and how, is there not going to be another platform? We were talking about spam calls and how to like figure out who's a real person and who's not. Oh, I think I need to step on the oh, there it goes. I got it. Okay, I must have missed the trigger to get the jump pads. But yeah, for me, I've been learning how to identify who's a who's, you know, an internet troll to some degree. You know, who's a real person and who's not for years. Because, you know, I'd be in a chat room and somebody would say something and they would say, it'd be a little weird, and eventually you'd realize, yeah, this person's just a bot. This is the first time I've ever killed a Mothergunship. That was stressful. I got a decent amount of secrets, not all of them, obviously.
Excellent work, recruit. You've destroyed the second Mothergunship. You deserve a reward for this. Wilkinson, do you have any baked goods?
No, and I'm not making any. Get that idea out of your head.
I know. We'll reward you with a new rank. Yes, here you are. A new rank. You are now a recruit rank 2. Yes, you're still a recruit. That's just the way things work around here. But now you're a 2-star recruit. Keep it up, and maybe someday you'll be a 5-star recruit. But remember, you're still a recruit.
Colonel, you're an asshole. So does that make the next one harder? Possibly, yes. Well, this is gonna suck. But yeah, so it was just kind of an odd thing for me to... Oh, there's the Goliath, yes! Okay, so it's not lost forever. I was worried about that. Can't afford you, though. But yeah, it's just an odd thing, you know, interacting with other people that aren't me, obviously, and realizing, like, yeah, you know, other people have different learning speeds or aren't used to the things that I'm used to. And I have to, like, pace myself and be like, yeah, no, like, Wander, don't be a dick about this, because, you know, technology is something that people have had to learn. I don't know, I'm fixated on this because it's such a weird generation gap. I even have this problem with my parents sometimes a little bit. The age-old thing with my parents of, stop downloading games on Steam, that's where you're getting viruses from. And it's like, no, mother, no. That's, just because I'm downloading a thing doesn't mean it's riddled with viruses. I got a virus probably because of who knows what. Probably some, like, bad driver or I don't know. I definitely was less, like, controlled over what I was getting as a kid. And, you know, for me, it's, like, a little, maybe not rage-inducing, but there's that, like, low-key moment of, like, you know, like, how do you not understand something that's, like, super simple to me? And then realizing, like, yeah, these people didn't even have downloads when they were growing up. They didn't even have the internet. And, you know, having to sit down and say, like, you know, no, this person is right. I mean, technically, I'm right, too. We're both right. But I can't, you know, just lose my cool because, hey, yeah, using and operating an iPhone is, like, super easy. And admittedly, like, it's taken me a little bit to learn the iPad, but that's just because I only use it for, like, one thing. So if I ever have to use it for anything else, I'm like, what? Like, it took me a couple of weeks to remove my full real name from my iPad, because it's like, I don't want people to know my full real name, but it's attached to my Apple account, because that's... They're not used to people having to try and go incognito. Why would they do that? That part's kind of stupid. I don't like that about everything. Like, I don't get why every single website nowadays needs to know my full real name. Like, let me connect my PayPal, and I'm sure I could, I guess, spoof it and lie and whatever. But, like, I don't know, it's weird. I miss some of that from the not 90s, early 2000s. Where, yeah, you could just sign up. Here's your email address, here's your username, here's your password. Now it's like, nope, gotta know your full name, your birthday, where you live. It's like, no, that works if I'm paying for money. Or, like, if it's like a banking service. Not so interested in, like, other services. It's weird. I don't know. Tech is weird. I get why people think it's scary. I'm probably a dinosaur compared to some teens nowadays. And that, you know, someday, if I ever have kids, they're going to be angrily yelling at me because I'm photoshopping too slow. And I'm going to be like, I remember when I had to press Control S to save, as opposed to just mentally thinking save file. Oh god, why is it painting everything in green? I hate green. No, what's it doing now? Why is it deleting everything?